All right, guys, welcome to this long-awaited installment of
Late Night TCG.
What are we talking about today, Pat?
We're gonna be talking about how to win, and this is like such a weird topic, right? It's super vague, but I think it's very, very important, especially because in some way or another, we all want to win, whether we're playing casual or competitive.
True. Casual doesn't mean bad, by the way.
Exactly.
But before we delve a little bit deeper into the topic, as you guys know, we gotta do the promo. So
exactly.
This video should be up on HeadtoHead Battles channel.
Yep.
So if you are not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. All
also,
right?
click that notification bell. By the way, don't forget, we're watching.
Okay, Big Daddy, relax. Also, the second part of this episode will be premiering exactly 30 minutes after this episode airs.
Right.
And that's going to be over at Pack's channel.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, check out my channel. It's first link in the description box below. Yeah, go listen to the second half of this video. I'm sure you guys, if you are listening to this on the car, on your way to work, etc., just, after the video ends, definitely take some time, go to the description box, and listen to the other half.
Yep. Also, we both stream on Twitch. Pack, when do you stream?
Yo, so this is the most interesting question, right? So when do I stream?
When do you stream?
I don't even know myself. So just catch me at twitch.tv/pack_official_TCG.
Yep. And we here at HeadtoHead Battles, we stream every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 p.m. EST. I mean, we try our best, right? We try our best, but that is a tentative schedule, subject to change.
Right. So let's delve right back into the topic at hand.
How to win. And I mean, when we're talking about how to win, I mean, first you have to ask yourself, do you even want to win? Because, I mean, that's an important question.
Right.
Like, are you playing to play, or are you playing to hope to get somewhere?
Yeah, and to be fair, like, I feel like for the most part, in some form or another, people, I guess, want to win, whether it's competitive or casual, like, I'm just playing with friends, because it's like, I guess there's, like, a certain thrill to it, right? But it's,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think there comes a certain point, like, like, how do I actually win, man? Like, I keep either losing or, I mean, like, man, look at me, bro. Jeez.
Yeah. Shout out to LCS6,
yeah,
bro.
so, like, I just came from this LCS, man, and I just got scraped. But, like, I think, I mean, like, there's some situations and things you can't control, right? I always tell my viewers this whenever I'm on Twitch, that I'd rather lose knowing that I didn't misplay, but that my opponent had a better hand, than lose because I misplayed.
Wow.
And the biggest difference in the two is that, one scenario is that you played the best you could, you played very optimally, but sometimes fate is just not in your favor, and the fortune that was dealt by the hand and the randomization of dueling book algorithm was just not great.
Okay. You know what? Listen, let me tell you how to solve this. Okay, stop putting out deck profiles with 16 hand traps, and both of us will get to play the game, bro.
No. The thing, because because I think like there came a certain point where like. I usually would get really mad or like mauled, like literally freaking mauled, frustrated because my opponent would open so broken. I'm looking at my hand like I just drew three bricks. One of them is kind of playable, and like the other 4 cards in my hand are like, I hope they don't have a hand trap, right? My opponent drew triple hand trap, Oviraptor, Miscellaneousaurus.
Damn. Damn.
And I'm looking like, all right, I guess I lose, and usually I would maul, right? And to be fair, anyone would. So the biggest thing, the first tip of the day on how to win is keep your composure.
Yeah.
And this is so important because a lot of players when they're distressed or they like get really emotional because of like they got sacked or X, Y, and Z, they get really like tilted, right?
Yeah. And if you guys catch me on stream sometimes, like I always open like Gamma Driver or Sanctum Scythe.
Yeah.
Like all the time, bro.
Right.
And like as it keeps happening, you're just like it's just today is not a good day. But I mean, realistically speaking, it's RNG, and unfortunately it's gambler's fallacy to think that, hey, if I flip a coin 100 times, it'll be 50 heads, 50 tails.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. So keeping your composure is something that really does affect a lot more people than they think, because when I get mad, I don't want to play anymore, right?
Yeah.
So when you don't want to play anymore, it makes you make like
really plays. Like, really bad plays.
Yeah, really bad plays. But they would be good, except when you're mad, you don't play around anything. You don't respect their face down or nothing.
You're like, whatever, man. I'm just gonna keep playing whatever. You got another hand trap?
Yeah.
All right, fine. You got it. All right, bro.
Exactly.
And the thing is, like, yes, that's the mentality a lot of people have, and to be fair, it's frustrating at times, man. Like it's so frustrating. So like they open up D shifter, man.
Passing a trap in the game,
and I'm just like, come on, man, like come on. I'm just trying to play, and I think I came to a certain point in just my overall life perspective that you guys kind of like have to accept things for what they are, and like if you can't change it, why dwell on it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what are you going to look back at your replay and like, hey, what if he didn't have dwell? What if he didn't have D-shifter? Like, like no, like, you know,
he had it.
He had it. So what could you do in that situation instead of molding?
Right. And it's funny because I don't know why, but everyone's playing D-shifter.
Yeah.
And I got D-shifter yesterday like twice, and I was like, yo, that's how that feels like.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's how that feels like. I mean, but I mean, again, like in terms of winning, I mean, I think a lot of that has to do with like a pack actually started a series or a long-standing series called Dropping to Topping and or like learning from your losses.
Yeah.
And for players like me who are more casual than competitive,
I
have nothing to learn because like there's nothing hard about it. You know, like oh, I couldn't do steps 1, 2, and 3. Okay.
Yeah, right.
But for someone like for pack, it's like okay, here's a 25-step combo.
Yeah.
If my opponent opens 3 hand traps and I have a certain hand, how can I alter what can I alter in those 25 steps to play through it, right?
Exactly. You know, and that's like what I always tell people, like, you know, they're like, yo, Pac, how many hand traps can your deck play through? And I'm telling like, well, it depends, right? Like you got to be able to look at your hand and determine, you know, how to sequence your plays properly. And that's like, I guess the second part of the tip is like sequencing, right? Like when you're given those 5 cards in your starting hand, especially it's more relevant for combo decks, but even for control, right? Like do you set all your cards or do you only set 2 to play around a lightning storm potentially? If you can't, if you auto lose to a lightning storm, like do you like maybe like hold the imprint in your hand because they blow up your whole field? You might have an imprint from the hand and play around lightning. Like it's just like those types of things that you have to think, you know, forward thinking, right? And it's hard, right? Because it's a lot of that involves reading your opponent and gauging their like power level. It sounds really dumb, kind of like a scanner from like Dragon Ball. And like over 9,000. But no, seriously though, you have to like gauge your opponent, like, you know, their skill level, the way they maneuver, what they might have, what they might side, what they might not side. And it's like a lot of learning about your deck as well as your opponent's deck.
Yeah. And you actually touched upon it pretty well. Like, you have to know how good your opponent is, right? Because, like, sometimes if I'm playing Madolches and I go first, right? And I open, like, Nib, Imperm, like, LS. Like, I have a going second hand, right? Sometimes, dude, just do nothing, right? And then, granted, we know what our opponent's playing, right? Because, like, if our opponent's like, yo, Pod Desires, yo, Gizmek, yo, Normal Summon Grand Machi,
exactly.
Then, you know, I mean, you still have the Imperm at least.
Exactly,
But my point is like, Pac had a really interesting stream title a couple of days ago. He said, know thyself, know thy enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
I was like, yo, I mean, I support you all the time. But I'm like, yo, I gotta double click this shit. This shit nice. This title nice.
Right.
And I was watching him play, and I was like, yeah, actually, like, I do echo that a lot, and I want to reinforce it here. Is like, know yourself and like know how you play. And at the same time, like, if you understand your opponent and you know that like he could have OTK'd but he didn't. Yo, game 3, just don't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah. And the reason why I named the stream title that way is because I realized that a lot of players get stuck in a bubble. They play what they want to play, but they don't branch out to play things that they're not comfortable with. And like for me, right, like I played Infernobles for the past 2-3 weeks, like straight. Like straight. Ever since the balance dropped, I played that deck straight. But how well do I know the Dragon Link deck, which is a really strong meta deck, as well as the Dinosaur deck that, you know, both these decks, I think the Dinosaur deck went 8-0 at the LCS tournament.
No way.
Exactly. And so like it's that type of like understanding that when I played for a playmat, actually, for the remote tour playmat, I went against Dinos for my last round. I knew exactly how to hand trap this man that I 2-0'd him. Like, it was just that simple because I knew how to play his deck so well that I literally told him after the game, you literally could have played around this XYZ hand trap if you did this sequencing. And it's that type of understanding that you have to, like, come to that. And that's how you gauge your opponent's, like, power level. That's how you gauge your opponent because they weren't playing around this. They could have played around this, but they chose not to, and then they get punished. And when you have the hand trap, it feels so rewarding because at the end of the game, right, it's not, like, I told him, like, win or lose, right? Like, even if I lost, I would have told you, like, that you could have done this to play around this. I may not have had it, but you would have literally lost to this. And it just happened that this time around, I had the way to like, you know, punish him for like playing incorrectly.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so that was in the final though. Wow, so he must have.
No, but it's fair though, because I was playing cards like Skullmeister, like which negated Miscellaneous Source in the Grave, but he could have played around it because if he had Lost World up, right, the first thing you would do instead of activating Mist to banish, you would go Oviraptor effect, target the token of pop, and then protect Lost World, then pop Baby, summon like either a Giant Rex or whatever. Right. You can make Dolka, then activate Mist, so you're protected.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't do that? How did he get? I mean, no offense if you're watching, no offense.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
it sounds really simple, right? But then like I just saw like the way you were sequencing his plays, and it's just like I think sometimes we just autopilot assuming like Yu-Gi-Oh is a game of solitaire, and I think that's why like even though I don't like to play hand traps, it's like sometimes important because it punishes players for not, you know, doing the most optimal play. And that's like kind of the stuff I try to cover in my videos. Is like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh is not a game of solitaire. Sometimes it is, and you sometimes just win just because your opponent doesn't have a hand trap and you know never punish.
Yeah, never punish.
But there are situations where your opponent draws 3 hand traps back to back. Yeah, that happened to me. And it's like, you know, you have to do it the best you can. Like, actually, the game 1 of my LCS finals, if you guys have watched that, was a plunder match. It took like so long. My guy opened up Phantasme, Nibiru, Token Collector, Droplet, and a Plunder Monster starter.
Wow.
I played through it, man. Like, and that, it's like, you know, you have to be like, you have to understand what these cards do. Yeah. And then like do your best to sequence your plays, man. It's like.
Right, and like, and like, you know what? That actually like kind of delves into like deck building at that point, right? Because like, you have to know these cards exist, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, and if you don't, then maybe competitive Yu-Gi-Oh is not for you, right? Yeah. But when you're delving into the competitive scene, like, you know these cards exist, and you know these cards hard stop your deck.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's why, like, in my last dropping the topping video, I talked about this idea of like win con, but also like your lose condition, which is like essentially the idea that when you look at your hand, what am I folding to, right? Like, what am I folding to right now? So, for example, a good example would be in Dragon Link, right? You go normal summon Seyfert. Would you use Seyfert effect if you have a, like, say, for example, a Noctovision in hand, and you know, for example, if you activate Seyfert effect and you get Ash, you lose. Yeah. You just don't activate it. You just link it off for Striker Dragon, trigger Noctovision, summon, make Ramis, chain block. Yep. But a lot of people there would go like, oh, haha, greedy time, affect Seyfert. Ash? All right, well, pass turn. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's kind of like that kind of logic that like Wei and I talked about, and I think it's so important because a lot of players fall into this idea of like going for the most greedy line of play instead of playing safe, right? And it's like, hey, yeah, you got a +1, but people have to understand that if your combo fully resolves and you play through hand traps, you're winning the game. You don't need that extra card.
Yeah, no matter what.
Like, you're winning the game already. Yeah. It's like that extra card literally means that you lose to one more thing.
Exactly.
And so it's just not worth.
Yeah, and like think about what hand traps are, right? Like, your opponent has to go -1 in hopes that you don't go +1. Yeah. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you hand trap something that's meaningless, you just went -1. Yeah. And that's why like there are a lot of players out there who are like, hand traps are trash. If your deck needs hand traps, your deck is trash. Yeah. But it's like, okay. I mean, granted, like if most rogue decks, like, I'll be honest, most rogue decks, you hand trap their first like thing. Yeah. I think they'll pass. They'll pass. But I mean, but that's granted. But again, like, a lot of rogue decks do play a lot of blowout cards that are forced to be negated. Yes. So in that sense, a lot of rogue players will play around that way as opposed to altering their sequence. Yeah. There's like, Allure? Oh, I didn't think I'd get that far. Desires? Yeah. Oh, I didn't think I'd get that far.
Yeah,
Trade it?
Right.
So it's just like, that's something you have to realize as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, you know what I'm saying?
And then I always like try to tell people this too, like, regardless of what deck you're playing, right? Like, if you're playing to like win, you have to like do the best you can with the hands you're given. Yeah, exactly. And instead of like complaining about, oh man, I drew X, Y, and Z and like it's really, really bad. Like, I had a lot of players at LCS were like sighing, bro. They're like, I'm like, you just told me your hand was ass.
Your whole hand, bro.
You told me your whole hand was ass, bro. No one's on the connector. and it's just like, you know, don't give your opponent information for free.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah, it's so. And it's like, and part of that is relating back to like this idea of like emotion, controlling your emotions, and having a really strong mental. Like, and I always try to advocate this is like, you know, at the LCS, I won match 1, but then I lost 2 matches back to back after that. But you know, did I give up? I'm like, nah, the dream's still alive. And so I won 3 in a row right after that to make it to day 2. I mean, I scraped out like in day 2, but like the idea is that, you know, don't let those lost games affect your mental state to where, you know, you're playing poorly or you're just kind of like getting really upset. It's kind of like, you know, move on and do better next game.
Yeah, because I mean you have to realize, man, like when you carry like negative emotions, like especially if you're playing at like a YCS, right? And, like you go X2 and you're like, damn, if I lose one more, I can't top, right?
Yeah.
Like you carry that, and then like you draw a bad hand, and no matter how good your poker face is, your opponent will
catch
guaranteed read you on that. Because like you're already in a bad mood, you know? So like if you are really looking to get more W's than losses, right? Because like realistically, like even if you are winning 51% of your games, as long as that like 1% of the games you are winning above that threshold are important, bro, you'll have tops nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly.
So who cares?
Yeah.
You know? Like, who cares?
And that's why, like, I think that at the end of the day is, like, you know, like, winning is really, really important, right? Like, for a lot of people, like, you know, winning is something that you hope to do, but you have to understand that at the end of the day, there's so much to learn just from losing as well. And I think that's what, like, I mean, you know, lose 1,000 games, right? And then you win the ones that count when you go to, like, the YCSs or, like, you know, all these, like, big major events. And that's what we're trying to say, right? Like, guys, you're not going to become, like, the next king of games the next day, you know, playing, like, 2-3 games. It's like, you know, it takes time, it takes dedication, and it's something you can develop, right? I think a lot of people believe that, you know, some people are just born, like, great players, or, like, you know, they're just, like, freaking, you know, godly. Like,
definitely not,
like,
guys.
No, like,
definitely
you know,
not.
It takes time, it takes patience, and yes, like, for example, I may have just lost the last LCS, didn't top, right? Like, I was prepping so much for it, didn't top, but, like, my mental game is so good, man. I still feel like, you know, I played the best I could. I lost because my opponent's hand was just, you know, honestly, you know, unequivocally just better.
Yep.
And, you know, I find solace in that, you know, I did the best I could with the hands, you know, that DB generated randomization XYZ BS, you know, blessed me with. Even though I was playing 40, by the way, shout out to Cody, for Christ's sakes. I was still not drawing hand traps in 40. I was drawing it in 60 more than 40, man. Maybe it's just very.
Yeah, it's so weird, dude. Yeah, it's just weird how that works. Cause like, it's funny because like one of the main decks that I do enjoy playing is Grand Module. It's a 60 card module list, bro. I always open Shifter. Yeah. But I always open Hexatrude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I mean, again, guys, that's variance. And like, before we go off on a long tangent, losing on LCS, guys, compared to like misplaying in Worlds, two very big different things.
Right,
listen, you have to tell yourself, bro, like, it's okay to lose.
It's okay.
You know?
It's okay.
It's
and like,
okay to lose, man.
I think the thing is, a lot of people like get really frustrated when they lose, but I like, you know, and it's hard. Like, sometimes I it's not like I'm not human, right? Like, I get really
of course,
I get really like, sometimes I'm like, man, like, I just got sacked, man. Like, what can I really do, right? And then you definitely get a little disheartened right there, but at the end of the day, like, you pick up your mental right away. Yeah. And then the idea there is that, you know, your mental state is so important to how you play, how you execute. And it's like, a really good friend of mine told me that he only plays Yu-Gi-Oh when he's happy.
Wow.
And that's a really deep statement, man.
That's deep, bro.
Shout out to who you are, man. You know who you are. But like, I thought that was so deep is because you don't play this game to like escape. You play this game when you're really happy because it, you know, it's a reinforcement. You know,
it's a hobby.
It's a hobby. Yeah, it shouldn't be like a place where if you're down and you're upset, you're depressed, man. True. Maybe playing Yu-Gi-Oh is not, or maybe it could be. You know, who knows?
Yeah, you know, I actually never thought of it like that. I mean, like, at least for us, like we're content creators. Like we can say that now. Like I feel like we're established enough to say that.
Yeah.
We're content creators in the space, so low key we are kind of forced to play the newest decks and you know, figure it out, because like you don't want to be that content creator who's like stuck within a niche, right? Yeah. So it's like, for us, it's a little bit different. But I mean, even at the same time, like Pac and I were two very different content creators. Like, you know, like you guys can tell. And I know. Again, we do share a lot of viewers, and you guys come to us for different things. You know, like, you're not gonna come to me for the next greatest combo. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just watch Pac's video, you dissected his video and you're like, my brain hurts. Let me go watch something brainless. You know what I'm saying? Head-to-head battle. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but like, yeah, it's just that, you know, like, yeah, we definitely focus on like different types of content, and I think that's the cool part about, like, I think the Yu-Gi-Oh space. Everyone has their own like niche within, you know, like what they, you know, look to accomplish, to do, to showcase with everyone. But, you know, yeah, I mean, winning in Yu-Gi-Oh, man.
I mean, it's definitely not easy, man.
It's definitely not easy.
It's not the easiest thing. And again, guys, as I mentioned, like at the very beginning, it's like, what do you want out of it? You know, do you want to make? I mean, because people start Yu-Gi-Oh for the craziest things, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people just kind of need to get it out of the house. Understandable. A lot of people just want friends who share the same hobbies.
Yeah.
You know, and then like that's the greatest thing about this game. But I feel like at the same time, you know, there's a negative aspect to it with all the toxicity involved. But but that's every community, every facet of humanity. It exists. All right.
I think one really interesting point is that, like, you don't have to feel like you need to be a competitive player to, like, you know, feel like you want to win, right?
Absolutely
like,
not.
I think, like, it doesn't matter what level of, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh you're at. At the end of the day, like, if you're playing to have fun, then like who cares, right? Like,
exactly.
Like, and so I don't know, man. It's definitely like Susu was saying, like, finding your purpose for playing this game, right? Like, if it's an escape, like, why put more pressure on yourself playing like a very stressful
that's what I'm
environment, man? I'm freaking mauling, sweating half the time, yo. Like, it's that's just like the nature of it, man. It's like these are high pressure situations, right? And if that type, being in that type of situation is not good for you, or like it's detrimental to you, then, you know, don't, and then just play for fun, man. Yeah, I know the thing with Yu-Gi-Oh, it is quite expensive to play fun decks, but
it really is, bro.
But it is an option for sure. And so, like, if you're looking to get away from like the day-to-day stuff and play something fun, casual with friends, then, you know, like, then go pick that up, right? And at the end of the day, if you do decide to enter the competitive scene, definitely don't be afraid. I know it can be very scary because I think a lot of the connotation associated with like the competitive scene is not the greatest. Like,
it's not.
you hear really bad stories about the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh scene
all the time.
And I mean, to be fair, some of it is true, and there are a few bad apples, but there are also a lot of really good players out there. Like, not good in the sense that like they're strong players, but good in the sense that they're kind enough to help you.
Yeah, like Wade's a perfect example.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, people that are just objectively, you know, telling you the straight facts, like that, you know, this is how you get better. And at the end of the day, like, to get better or to win, you have to be open-minded. Like, when people give you advice, you have to be open-minded. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. If I have 2 hand traps, right?
Yeah.
What is the best way for me to stop Infernobles?
What hand traps do you have, though?
Imperm Ogre.
Imperm Ogre? So, like, if I use the first effect of his Soul Day and I get Ogred, I get punished. So I usually skip it, depending. But you would Imperm the second effect of his Soul Day for sure. Or you can actually like basically have a gamma effect. You would chain Ogre, then chain Imperm.
Oh.
Yeah. So you chain link 2 Ogre and then chain link 3 Imperm, and you basically have a pseudo gamma on the second effect of his Soul Day, which is like pretty punishing. I mean, that should generally stop my turn by, like, I mean, we always got extenders, so.
Yeah, all the time.
I mean, like, the
Flint Lady, Renault, we got everything.
Yeah, like the deck is designed, the way I built the deck was to play through that. Like,
correct.
I know a lot of people play, and that's the thing, right? Like, understanding, like, that if your deck loses to a certain thing, then you deck build to compensate for that.
Right. Yeah, and I think, and like I said, we touched upon deck building before, but I think we're going to touch more upon that in the next half.
Okay.
I think that's super important because, like, a lot of people, the game starts with deck building. Okay, granted, it starts with you picking your deck.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the end of the day, like, deck building is probably
so huge,
the fundamentals of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, and I think, like, that's the skill that is harder to develop than, like, the technical play. Because, like, anyone can hand you the deck.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, you can play the deck, right? But then the idea is, like, if you were to, not everyone's gonna always give you a deck, right? Like, not everyone is just gonna be like, hey, here's a YCS winning deck list. Go out there and crush it, king. No one does that. Like, you're literally like, you're creating your own list most of the time. Like, you know, like, no one is out here like, hey, yo, Pac, I got the crazy different. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I just had to make it from scratch, you know? Like, that's how
exactly, yeah.
So.
And that's the craziest part, right? Because, like, again, guys, and we've said this before, nothing wrong with Netdeck. There's like literally nothing wrong with it. But I mean, at the same time, it's like deck building, I think, is like the most enjoyable for me.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
Cause like, yo, you have a plethora. You have 10,000 plus cards to choose from, right? And like, and Pac always does is like he'll go on DB, go in the description box, type in like special summon from the hand, right?
Yeah.
And there's I tried it. There's like 23 pages. Yeah. And the DB is like 5 by like 8. So there's 40 cards on each page times 100 pages.
Yeah.
This man is looking through 4,000 cards to see like what the goo is.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's like the types of things you have to do to like take deck building to the next level, right? Like find the stuff that people haven't looked at yet. And that's why, like, I'll be honest, I love looking through bulk, even though I don't sort them, so it becomes kind of like a headache. But I love going through bulk, and I even do this with like other trading card games. So this is a plug later, guys, for like a later episode. But even for Pokemon, right? Like I just went through some of the polls from if you guys haven't already watched like Susu, like head-to-head battles, like they did a pack opening challenge recently with Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And so I just came here and I looked through the stuff that he pulled for Pokemon. I play a little bit enough of the game, but I was reading through some of the cards. And I'm like, oh, this card might be really good in this deck, right? And like, it's that same type of things that you have to do. Like it sounds really dumb. At the end of the day, it's just reading, like just straight up reading, man. Like
and look, that's very true. Yeah. We Yu-Gi-Oh players have a big problem with that. But you know, at the end of the day, and we'll wrap it up here. At the end of the day, it's about whether you win or not, are you excited to sit down in front of someone and play the goddamn game, bro?
Yep, 100%, man.
Oh,
so
my God.
If you guys are in the car, if you guys are walking on the street, walking your way to work, etc., whatever, and you want to hear the second part, definitely go check that out in the description box below. Look forward to seeing you guys up there.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, it's really cool because in every second episode we do a small giveaway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and then we do a big giveaway.
Yeah.
So if you guys go watch the second part, and I know you will, come back to this one and comment down below what topic you enjoyed most out of the second video.
Yep.
And I want the people who watch this video to go comment over packs on what topic you enjoyed the most here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And if our videos both collectively get 1,000 likes, we're gonna be doing a booster box giveaway. All right.
So that's gonna be really exciting because Phantom Rage is coming out. So if you want this, if you want a Phantom Rage box, then definitely go like this video and go like the video that we have in the description box below. So.
In the next half, we're gonna be talking about deck building and more in depth on packs, wins, and losses from the LCS. So I know you guys are super interested. Hearing it from the player himself.
Yep.
So thank you for stopping by today. All right, we will catch you in the next one. This is Susu from Head-to-Head Battles.
Pack. I'll see you in the next one.
Peace.